Welcome back. Welcome back to Alpha Bow Hunting. I know it's been a little while. Been a busy end of the spring and early summer so far, but I figured what better way to get back into the swing of things than some Q&A. Been getting quite a few questions from the comment section to private messages and a few other things, so I'm going to actually take the next couple videos and answer some of those questions, tie up some loose ends, and like I said, just try to get back in the swing of things. This is something I really enjoy doing, and getting the feedback from you guys makes it worth it for me to know that I'm actually helping some people out. So first things first, I guess I had a few private messages as where we've been, what's been going on. Short answer to that is I did have a death in the family a few months back. My grandma passed away, so we were dealing with some family stuff there, and then since then the Alpha events have started. As we speak, we're less than a week away from the second event, June 3rd and 4th. So hopefully you're able to check that out. If not, watch the feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll also try to get some videos up here soon. So first, next question, I guess, Jose Chung 21 on YouTube. He was interested in my final thoughts on the Quivalizer, on this quiver, and his biggest concern was the wind. So the Quivalizer review I did a while back, it seems like the gear reviews tend to do be a little bit more popular from the standpoint of, obviously people looking for information and looking for people's feedback on a product before they buy it. And this being a product that I tested out last year, I honestly haven't tested it since, and I'll tell you why. I was about ready to hunt with this quiver last year, and I like many of the features on this quiver. I did do some modifications to it. I shortened the bar a touch. I actually also took the carbon rod and I added some weight to the front. I had a stainless steel rod that was about the same inside diameter as this carbon rod. I slid it in there, epoxied it. So I did get a little bit extra weight forward for the balance. Now, because I shortened this quiver and the way that it's mounted on my bow now, when it's sitting on my bow, my strings, I think, are somewhere about right here. So what happens is, whether I mount this off to the left side of my riser or I flip the bar around and I mount it on the right side of my riser, with the arrows obviously being the other way, it seemed that maybe cutting the bar was probably a mistake, because with this arrow sticking out past the back of the bow, past the back of the string, it gave a lot more opportunity to get caught on things. And it started getting caught a lot, where it would get caught and this arrow would just pop out. And even though it does have the double gripper system in there, it didn't take much when it caught my pant or something on my waist or my pack, and it seemed like that top arrow kept popping off. So it was something that I'm pretty rough on my equipment. I'm not afraid to get down and crawl for long periods of time if I need to try to get into position. It's something that it was just enough of a concern in the back of my head that I didn't want to take it out into the field. As far as accuracy and wind, because Jose's next biggest concern was wind, I actually started shooting this just as a 4-arrow quiver. Once I started noticing that was popping off, I actually did not even put that top arrow in anymore, and I was just running 4 arrows down below and using it that way. I didn't really notice, I guess, any more wind drift with this than running a long stabilizer setup like what I ended up hunting with the bee stingers with a 15-inch bar off the front. The little bit extra weight, I think, in the front of the rod here helped me out. So all in all, I like this system for a lot of reasons. I think if there was a hunt where I may be a little bit more stationary and not subject to crawling around so much, or honestly, even whitetail hunting, this doesn't bother me. But it's one of those things, again, that in the whitetail stand, I usually I'm only running 2 or 3 arrows in my quiver, and I don't have a whole bunch in there, so it's pretty minimal. The one thing I will say, even if you leave this rod full length and you were a longer draw length guy, and your arrows are going to stick out the back of that string anyway. So it's something to consider. Like I said, it was just enough to where I didn't like it, because it was happening regularly as I was shooting, and getting down to get in a kneeling position to shoot, or whatever the situation I was doing. I was getting a lot of arrows popping out of the quiver. So I would say that's probably one of the only negative things, but it was just enough hanging in the back of my mind. I didn't want to be making a stock and having to be reloading or reattaching arrows into that quiver. So, Jose, I appreciate the question. Like I said, for many, depending on your style of hunting, that's going to be my answer to that question. Next, short one, Juan Melendez, again on YouTube. What program do you use for sight tapes? He commented on the attaching a sight tape, I believe, video that I put up. So I use Archer's Advantage. I like being able to print out the cut charts, dialing into the arrow weight, and specify the point selection and vein configuration, and so many things on there. You really get to personalize your setup, and it's a good product. So I really enjoyed using that one so far. Next, Dylan Pageant, how are you liking the Stasis stabilizers from Stokerized? So I had the Stasis system on for a little while on both my my custom build Carbon, as well as this Defiant. This is a 2016 Defiant, and I think from shooting target archery for so many years and really heavying up your bow and understanding balance and that kind of thing, I always tend to go back to that heavier, a little bit longer stabilizer system. And again, on that 15-inch front bar on the Bee Stinger that I've been using, it just seemed like my pin holds a little bit steadier there, and I get a little more consistent groups with that little longer, heavier bar on there. It's not ideal for carrying weight around, I know, but it's been what's been most accurate for me. So that's what I go back to. I do like the Stasis system, very versatile, super adjustable, and it is a slick looking system. So check that out. It's the one I was running was the 11-inch front and I believe 8-inch back bar. I think it's a 19-inch total length setup. I did add some weights to that and try to heavy it up, but it just didn't quite feel like it was long enough on the front bar. So good system. If you're comfortable with that 10 to 12-inch front bar system, I would consider the Stasis. Okay, next, I gotten a couple comments when I talked on my aiming video as far as aiming drills and that kind of thing with regards to stabilizer setup and how to move your bars as far as getting a good balance. And that's going to be a video in itself. I will let you know that a lot of where I started with that was just trial and error. And then I actually read an article by George Riles that was on the target archery side with the long stabilizer, and there was some references to shorter stabilizer setups, but like I said, I'm going to touch on that in an upcoming video. I will reference that article again, you know, just in full disclosure. George Riles wrote a great article many years ago, I would say 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, and I'll let you know exactly what that article was. And it talks about what you're seeing in your pin movement and impact point and pin pattern and a bunch of different things to know what to try next. So that's an upcoming video that we're going to talk about. And also into the next video, we're going to talk a little bit more about broadheads, because that's another question I get regularly. And as we, here in Colorado, it's towards the end of May, 1st of June. So tags have started to come out, and many of you across the West already know what you've drawn, and we're going to start moving back into that. And I'll just tell you on the short side before I get into that stabilizer, or excuse me, the broadhead video in the next Q&A. I mess with stuff every year. I've used broadheads in the past that have done an excellent job for me, that have flown great and grouped great, and there's not been a lot of reason to change. But understanding where the industry is, it's kind of what have you done for me lately type industry, and new products come out every year. I always try to stay on top of the curve as far as testing stuff out. This year's been a little bit more difficult. I'm going to be honest. I've switched over to everything on the Deep Six side. On my Defiant 34 at 73 pounds. I've got just a standard carbon ejection 330, and it's cut short. It's cut about 26.5 inch on the shaft measurement. So it is stiff enough to run there, but there again, some of the broadheads I've used in the past are not offered in the Deep Six. You know, in addition to that, on my Frankenbow, my custom build, I've been running the Deep Six FMJs, and there's a lot of benefits to that thinner diameter shaft, thicker wall, wind drift. They've been flying very, very good for me out of both bows, and I'm excited to hunt with them. So I may end up considering an off-brand outsert, a half-in, half-outsert type system to just get back into potentially some more broadhead selection, maybe. But so far, we're going to talk about what I've used in the past and what I like about some of the broadheads that are on the market right now. So that's an upcoming video. That's all I've got on this one. Like I said, there's a couple other ones that I've got that I'm going to save moving forward. Some of them I may just message you directly, as there's some questions that maybe just more specific to might be one person type of deal as opposed to benefiting the masses. So thanks again for checking it out. Gonna have another Q&A video coming up after this in a few days. And then, like I said, I've got the stabilizer video coming up, as well as some other videos getting into some of the broadhead testing. So I appreciate everybody checking us out, subscribing, you know, commenting below, hitting the bell notifications so you see when we get videos coming back up. We're going to have regular content moving forward. We've got some great tags moving forward. Some of the guys that helped me with the alpha bow hunting events, as well as some of the guys that are going to be helping me with the video side and the hunting side this year. So looking forward to bringing you guys some more coverage from the field, and especially these next few months getting moved into prep for the field. So you know, we've been enjoying it, and once again, I just want to say I appreciate everybody with their comments and their subscriptions to the channel. So we will see you guys on the next video.